Hello everybody, David Shuster here. Across the United States, the public protests against ICE are intensifying. Masked federal agents are being forced to retreat, do the walk of shame, and in some cases find new vehicles. In Los Angeles, that ICE SUV was parked illegally on the sidewalk, so a tow truck driver pulled the vehicle away as delighted bystanders showered the agents with expletives.
Yo no soy una criminal.
You touched me and I'm gonna F you up, said the man in the black jacket to ICE. He apparently called or helped the tow truck driver. As the ICE agents struggle with cell service, they are berated for not showing badges or identification. A woman also begins recording the agents.
Signal?
It's not clear what happened to the woman that I snatched. Agents still had another SUV, and their budget, of course, is unlimited. Still, the tow truck effort has reportedly inspired dozens of similar actions. And in some cases, people are reportedly helping to distract ICE agents or lure the feds away from their vehicles so the tow truck drivers can pull the cars and trucks away. In Washington, D.C.'s Columbia Heights neighborhood, a crowd of protesters confronted federal agents near a metro bus and subway stop. The phones and the chants were enough to convince the agents to retreat. Residents smiled. The agents walked back to their vehicles. And let's pause it here because this image is perhaps more than symbolic. The agents parked near a Washington, D.C. public school zone, and the license plate on the car is from Virginia, out of state. In other words, the agents are outsiders who are willing to grab anybody, anywhere. Although on this day, in this instance, the agents did the walk and drive of shame. Washington, D.C. is home, of course, to the famous sandwich slinger, Sean Dunn.
Motherfucker. Oh! 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 He cooked him! He cooked him!
In the wake of that act of defiance, Dunn has become something of a local hero, and countless people have stepped forward and offered to help him pay for his legal defense. However, for all of the acts of protest against ICE, countless federal agents continue to terrorize communities. Agents are tasering people who run, beating people on the ground, and even grabbing children and their parents coming home from school. Headline: 6-year-old New York City public school student and her mother deported to Ecuador after detainment. Headline: boy, 4 with cancer, deported by ICE despite being U.S. citizen, lawsuit says. A federal lawsuit filed in Louisiana alleges that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, deported a 4-year-old U.S. citizen boy with stage 4 kidney cancer along with his mother and sibling to Honduras in April 2025. The complaint contends that the deportation occurred without adequate notice, legal counsel, or arrangements for the child's ongoing medical care. Between the lack of due process from ICE and the brute force of many agents, Democrats are now threatening to ratchet up their legislative protests by shutting down the U.S. government. A funding bill is coming up for a congressional vote. Here's Democratic House member Robert Garcia.
I think that Democrats in the Senate, the House, all of us should be united in using everything that we can do and all of our power to stop what Trump is doing right now, not just in D.C., but across the country. So absolutely, that should be on the table. What's happening right now in Washington, D.C., and in other parts of this country should be horrifying to every single person that's going on the actual street. People are being thrown to the ground, being picked up. American citizens are being attacked. American citizens, in some cases, are being sent to detention centers. And so absolutely, the Senate should be engaged. And I know that our leadership is having conversations with Senate leadership. It's happening today, happening ongoing, about what that would actually look like. But we've got to be prepared for that action.
In the meantime, a growing number of ordinary citizens are taking matters into their own hands. Nearly all of the protests against ICE so far have been peaceful, even when ICE has smashed windows and drawn weapons. But it may be inevitable that eventually somebody is going to meet force with force. And it seems a violent confrontation where ICE agents and citizens exchange gunfire is what the Trump administration is looking for. So much of what ICE is doing seems aimed not at law enforcement or protecting the borders, but at sparking a provocation. Still, kudos to all of the courageous and creative protesters who keep taking to the streets peacefully. They are standing up for our due process, constitutional rights, and an America that often seems to be slipping away. By the way, Donald Trump just blurted out his new plot to rig the midterm elections.
We, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots because they're corrupt. And do you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong, but just about the only country in the world that uses them.
Actually, 34 countries around the world use mail-in ballots. And under our Constitution, election methods are up to the states. Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Chris, who writes, "If mail-in voting is stopped, how will Trump vote?" Well said. I look forward to reading your comments about the growing public protests against ICE, including with tow trucks. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.